No degree, no connections, just discarded bananas. Think about that for a second. Imagine a young kid stepping off a boat into this absolute chaos of a crowded port. He's got literally nothing to his name, right? Just this one burning dream to make something extraordinary out of his life. Where all these wealthy, powerful merchants saw nothing but garbage, overripe fruit fit for the trash, this kid saw something else entirely. He saw opportunity.
Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a genuinely epic rags-to-riches story. It is the gritty, hard-fought rise of Sam Zimmeré. I mean, within just a few years of setting foot in America, this destitute immigrant would literally gain control of railroad networks, build his own shipping fleet, and buy up hundreds of thousands of acres of land. He's building entire cities in the jungles of Central America. We're talking about a guy who eventually had foreign governments negotiating with him. But to understand the empire, we got to start with the dirt, the hustle, and, well, the discarded fruit.
Section 1. A Boy Alone in America. The 14-year-old immigrant.
15. That is the exact number of days Sam spent crossing the Atlantic Ocean. After the tragic death of his father, survival just became this brutal daily struggle for his family back in Russia. So, at barely 14 years old, he scrapes together every single dollar his family can spare, buys a one-way ticket, and leaves it all behind: his homeland, his childhood, his mother. And for that entire grueling 15-day voyage, he was completely alone. You can imagine he's constantly thinking about the mother he left behind, missing her deeply. But inside, he's carrying this incredibly powerful belief that taking this massive risk might be the one thing that frees him from the grinding poverty he's known his whole life.
So he lands in America. No money, nowhere to stay, barely speaking a word of English. People either couldn't understand him or just flat out ignored him. And the only thing he has in his pocket is one piece of paper with the address of a distant uncle who ran a small grocery store. He is utterly alone in a foreign land. But Sam? He just didn't quit. His determination was honestly stronger than most adults. After this really difficult search, he finally tracks down that uncle. So for the first time, he's got food and shelter. But now, it was time to work.
Section 2. The Art of Observation. More than just hustle.
All right, let's jump to 1893. Sam had immediately thrown himself into whatever jobs he could find. We're talking sweeping floors, running errands, sweating it out in warehouses. He flat out refused to get comfortable. But his real superpower, he watched. He watched every supplier, every customer, observing exactly how money actually flowed through the economy. After 2 years of this relentless hustle, 16-year-old Sam is walking down a busy street in Alabama when he spots a banana being sold at a fruit stand. Now remember, at the end of the 19th century, bananas were still considered this highly exotic fruit. Completely fascinated, Sam walks right up to the vendor and starts asking questions. And at that exact moment, he had absolutely zero clue that this one exotic fruit would completely transform his destiny.
Section 3. The Discarded Gold Mine in Mobile, Alabama.
Sam quickly figured out that his life wasn't going to change unless he went straight to where the big money was flowing. So he heads down to the bustling, cutthroat port of Mobile, Alabama. This place was wild, millions of dollars of Central American goods moving through it. Suddenly, he watches this massive vessel slowly pull up to the dock. Painted on the side, United Fruit Company. This was the Goliath of the banana trade. Sam just stands there in total amazement as the ship docks, dozens of workers board, and they start unloading thousands of banana bunches entirely by hand. No cranes, no modern gear, just raw manpower. But what happened next is what really blew his mind. Check out how they sorted these things right on the dock. The workers separated the fruit into 3 distinct categories. First, you've got the green bananas. These were the premium tier, right? They lasted the longest, commanded the highest prices, so they were immediately loaded onto trains to be shipped cross-country. Second tier, the yellow bananas. These had already started ripening, so they got sold off at a discount to local traders. And then, there was the third pile, the spotted bananas. Perfectly edible, perfectly delicious, but totally unsuitable for a long train ride. To United Fruit, these were just worthless trash.
Now look at this staggering metric. Roughly 15% of every single shipment ended up in this worthless category. We are talking about millions of perfectly good bananas being literally thrown away as waste. Looking at this massive pile, it hit Sam hard. I mean, he remembered the days when he and his mom were surviving on just one meal a day. To a giant like United Fruit, that 15% was just the cost of doing business. Garbage. But to a 16-year-old immigrant who actually knew the value of a meal, that pile looked like absolute gold.
Section 4. A very risky bet. The $50 wager.
So, Sam cooks up this incredibly simple but insanely risky idea. Buy those discarded bananas for pennies and resell them at a discount to folks who just needed affordable food. He actually walks up to the company guys and offers to buy the entire pile of overripe bananas with his whole life savings, $50, money he'd spent years scraping together. To these guys, a 16-year-old kid buying their trash must have sounded hilarious, but hey, they took the cash. But then came the real enemy, time. The next day, he gets his bananas loaded onto a train. Everything's looking great until the train stops, and then it stops again. And again. First, it's cargo loading delays. Then, these agonizing hours just waiting for crew changes. Then, track clearance issues. Hours are just bleeding away. As Sam is sitting there in this sweltering heat, he is literally watching his bananas darken before his eyes. A minor delay was a death sentence for this kind of inventory. His entire life savings was rotting right in front of him.
Section 5. The Telegraph Strategy, a stroke of genius.
He needed a miracle, right? And, well, he created one. Sam suddenly realizes that if he just sits there waiting for the final destination, he is completely ruined. The rules of the game were stacked against him, so he just decided to change the rules. Here's what he did. Step 1. He actually gets off the delayed train right then and there. Step 2. He walks straight into a Western Union office. Step 3. He pitches the telegraph operator, convincing the guy to send messages ahead to the upcoming stations, and he offers the operator a commission on every single sale. Step 4. The message goes out down the line to merchants and grocers. Hey, a shipment of really cheap bananas is coming your way. He literally turned a logistics nightmare into an instant, highly effective sales funnel.
And you know what? It didn't just work. It absolutely exploded. At station after station down that route, eager buyers were literally waiting for him right on the platform. We're talking merchants, grocers, street vendors, small business owners. They all desperately wanted affordable inventory. For a whole week, Sam rides that delayed train from station to station, rapidly offloading his stock. By the time that agonizing journey finally wrapped up, every single banana was gone.
Section 6. Birth of the Banana King, from waste to wealth. When Sam finally sat down and ran his numbers, he found something unbelievable. His original investment didn't just survive the trip, it pulled in a massive profit. See, while all the major companies were busy fighting tooth and nail over premium bananas and these complex distribution margins, Sam found huge value in exactly what everyone else was ignoring. And he definitely wasn't going to stop there. Within weeks, he repeated the exact same process. Then he scaled it. Then he optimized it, over and over again. Every single trip got more efficient. Every sale pulled in more profit. By the early 1900s, Sam Zumare had grown to become one of the absolute biggest buyers operating out of that entire port.
But you guys, this was just the beginning. Pretty soon, Sam looks around and decides that just controlling the discarded fruit, it simply wasn't enough anymore. A whole new ambition took hold of him. He wanted to control the entire supply chain. He wanted the plantations. He wanted his own shipping routes. He wanted the railroads. The destitute kid who arrived in America with nothing but one piece of paper in his pocket was now actively laying the groundwork to build a massive global empire.
He had mastered the art of observation. He had absolutely mastered the hustle. But what happens when the Banana King decides he wants the whole kingdom? Like, what happens when pure business ambition crosses the line into global geopolitical power? In part 2 of this explainer, we are going to see exactly how Sam Zamire's growing wealth would lead him to influence foreign governments, overthrow political systems, and literally reshape the entire future of Central America forever. Trust me, you are not going to want to miss it.